Wow, put a little Raj in there.
What's happening? Uh, I, I mean, I have to start this off on a good note because boy, do
Oh,
I
that was
ever.
Dwayne, right? Who said, "Hey, hey, hey"?
Yes,
It was just Dwayne. Yeah,
that was Dwayne, who probably should have gotten his own series as opposed to Roger.
yeah.
For people who have no clue what we're talking about, people probably if anyone who is watching who is under the age of I don't know 30 probably does not remember that there was a show called What's Happening, and that was the exchange, and the main character Raj would walk in on his buddies Dwayne and rerun. Dwayne's
Yeah.
response would be, "Hey, hey, hey,"
So
or if
now
you.
next week you have to have the suspenders on and be popping and locking.
I shouldn't have cut down my hair to let it grow out a little bit more.
Yeah, boy, the go betweens between Rerun and Shirley were always were fun.
Fantastic,
Yeah,
incredibly mean spirited, but they
yeah,
they loved each other in real life. They were good friends.
yeah. Oh, that's a good callback. Did you get anything new this week?
I did, but first, I'm sorry, I'm going to take up some time here
Oh,
because
wait.
give me.
Thanks for joining us on Two Guys Talking Toys.
Oh yeah, this that is the name of the show, ladies and gentlemen.
That's so wrapped up in what's happening.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Thank you for interacting and all that fun stuff. Yeah, I should probably just get this out of the way right now. If you're enjoying what you're watching and what you have been watching, if you like the show, get a hold of us on Two Guys Talking Toys on Twitter. That's the number two, no G after the talking. Same thing for Gmail. Let us know what you think. Subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends. Tell your enemies.
Make friends and tell them. I just realized that I put this hat on for St. Patty's Day, and it's a Lucky
Happy,
Charms hat. So I have
happy
my Fruit
pre-St.
Loops shirt
Patty's
on.
Day.
So
You
it's like
are
cereal day.
cereal crunching it up.
Yeah.
See, we gotta. I gotta have to put this on the list. We have to do an episode about cereal toys. That's
Right.
both
Which have come
toys,
into yeah.
both toys based on cereals, like cereals we got in the box, but
Mhm.
also toys based on cereal mascots because
Right.
both exist and both are fascinating to me and kind
Or
of coming
food
back
in
at home.
general. I've got Twinkie Kid right up there. Twinkie the
Oh,
Kid.
it's true. Oh, very nice. And
Yeah.
they've all got pops, but I don't know if those count. That's a whole other
Right.
discussion. We'll do an episode on pops, and I'll be grouchy throughout the entire thing. As
Okay.
I'm kind of grouchy right now, so I had to start the show off on a light note because give me like 60 seconds to rage. As if people are watching this in real time, if you're watching the episode as it comes out, you'll know that CollectorCon happened this week. It's a thing that we all experienced and suffered through together. Uh, Thursday, there was a drop. It was not terrible. I actually managed to get some of the stuff that I wanted because not terrible. But Friday was the main day. Friday was the day that uh, Ninja Turtle He-Man crossovers Krang, Moss Man, Lord Grasp, and Terror were going to be listed. I know people were also looking for like wrestling figures. Like there was a version of Sting that was coming out. Guess how long it took for this to become an utter debacle? Like,
15 seconds.
you know what? I'll give you credit. It actually did last longer than 15 seconds. More like 90, about 90 seconds. And I know this because I got up for this. I work second shift.
Right.
So most times I don't even know the 10 o'clock hour exists because I'm unconscious. I got up for this, sat at my computer, had my screen ready, had my information loaded, logged in, all ready to go, watching the countdown clock, refreshing. It hits. I want Krang to like. I just limited myself to those because I was like, just these are my top four. This is what's important. Krang, Lord Grass, Terror, Mossman. I get him in my cart. I'm going through checkout. Uh-oh, can't check out because Krang sold out. Are you serious? We'll just go through. Can't go through until you remove this from your cart. Hold on, it's going to take a few seconds for this to figure it out. And now it's out of your cart. Oh, but guess what? Now Lord Grasp has sold out. Mossman sold out. It's just gone. Just gone. I was furious. Way more angry than a grown-up should be
Right. The whole
about not
time.
being able to print. Now, these are just pre-orders, mind you.
Yep.
So aside from the utter ridiculousness of that, of the concept of pre-orders, figures that haven't been done yet, selling out.
Yeah.
Blows my mind. And at
When
the
you were
same
like,
time,
when you were saying, "Are you going to get on?" I was like, one, I was working, but then I was
Mhm.
like, two, I know how this goes.
yeah, without fail. I think it hit harder because yesterday I actually overslept. So I was like, everything's just gone. Like, why am I even bothering? But stuff wasn't gone.
Hmm.
And and just like how Mattel Creations figured it out after the Wondar debacle, and they're like, well, not only will we do a second run, we'll keep
Oh,
this in mind.
Wondar. It's been so
Yeah,
long since we heard Wondar.
yeah, and you know why? I don't hear about them anymore because they fixed their error. They
Right.
looked at what happened. They were like, oh, that's not good, and then they fixed it. And now, like, you can go back on right now and get Snout Spout. He's still just hanging out, but that might be because he's Masterverse and Origins seem to be a little bit higher demand. But this is not the first collector con. This is not the first time they have done this. What are they doing? Blew my mind. And I think what irritated me the most is the fact that I was surprised. And I was
Right.
mad because I was lulled into a false sense of security because, again, like, yesterday wasn't, or Thursday was not that bad. Most of the Transformers that I wanted were still in stock. And I was like, oh, maybe they learned their lessons. No, clearly they did not. So now, not only did everything sell out in seconds, chances are the cancellations are going to start hitting soon. So I feel bad for anyone that actually did manage to get one in their cart, go through the process, and is still just going to have their order canceled. So screw you,
And that's
Walmart.
what, and that's one
You
to grow on.
suck. Oh my lord, they suck. And I don't. The worst part is I know they suck. I work for these people. I did my time in a Walmart joint for longer than I am happy with. So I'm not even surprised. Just disgusted. They're just disgusting. But anyway, on a lighter note, I do have a couple of mystery things that I
All
did
right.
get from I don't know who this is from, but they're a whole lot more reliable than Walmart. Let me tell you. Who is this? Oh, it's Namorita. Okay. So I hit a point where,
Oh, cool.
yeah, so this is Namorita, Marvel Legends from the Void Wave, which, man, I was excited when they announced this wave. I know a lot of people were scratching their heads because it's such a weird hodgepodge of characters who don't really, they're just kind of like filling in holes to different collections of different teams, like Marvel Boy and Another Vision and Art School Namor and whatnot. But I I love Void, the character, the polar opposite of Sentry. He completes that character and makes him so much more interesting. I wanted this Build-A-Figure. My only gripe right off the bat, I feel like he's too small. I think he should be larger, but he's still
Boy.
Yes, yeah. Void should be a lot larger. There's no real scale given in the comics because it's such a, like, just the presence is massive
Right.
more than
He's
anything
kind
else.
of
But
amorphic presence. Yeah.
yeah, but like, give me that. But I'm excited. The hardest thing that I'm encountering is finding Power Princess because everyone wants her as a stand-in for Wonder Woman. So real quick, because I gotta burn through these because I took up all that time ranting. Package number 2. Apologize for my earlier rant. I really am fairly pleasant. it's just things like,
I can vouch for that.
thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad you came to my defense and did not instead be like, oh, don't believe him. He's a monster. Oh, I've been waiting for this. So this just about completes my
Thunder Gatos.
This one I will pop open. This is Pumira, the Super 7 version, not the Mattel tried this before when they were doing the He-Man subscription series, and they managed to get through a couple of Thundercats, but they didn't hit everybody. But Pumira is one of the ones that they hit. Them and her and the Thundercats, or I'm sorry, the Thunder Kittens. But I wanted the Super 7 one because she fits a little bit better in with the aesthetic. It's a little bit,
Yeah, that's a good looking figure.
I think her height is a little bit different too. Yeah, I loved when the new Thundercats showed up when Linkso and Bengali and Pumira showed up. I wanted that to be the start of just a boom of new Thundercats appearing. And I guess maybe they were going in that direction before the show was done, but
right.
it was really just these 3. And then, wasn't there like some kid there was some random kid Thundercat, like Thunderian, that popped up later that they tried to make important. He
Right.
was really just annoying. I remember him
Yeah,
being
because everybody
obnoxious.
made that mistake about bringing in a new annoying kid in that time period.
It's true. He really was the extra child that doomed the series. Unfortunate.
You
So
know, I didn't get anything new. I did
no.
rescue this little Christmas tree pencil
Oh.
topper from a parking lot, but I pulled a Tom. I was moving stuff around and found a box, like a shipping box. And I was like,
Mhm.
what is in there? I have no idea. I didn't open it. It was
Oh,
from
it's so
Has
cool.
it was
Uh,
from Hasbro, and it was the Mego Ghostbusters.
hey, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I found this just in time before the new movie comes out.
What a nice surprise. Oh, that's a good set.
Yeah,
Good job on the
fantastic.
face. Good job on the face sculpts, all four of them.
Yeah, really well done. I like it. Yeah, the zippers actually work. Like
Wow.
it's cool. Good job, Migo.
Do they come with their
Uh,
proton packs, or is just the
yeah,
base figure?
they're tucked in the side there.
Oh, you can deck them out.
Yeah, they've got their proton packs in there.
Nice.
Yeah, good stuff.
Now, do you remember ordering that? Because
Uh,
there is some stuff that I get where I'm just like, when did I
no, I remember ordering it because
get this?
it went on clearance. Like I
Hmm.
liked it obviously because it's Ghostbusters, but
Hmm.
it went on clearance and I ordered it. I don't know, a long time ago. It's been sitting. That box has gone unnoticed for a few months.
And since we've last spoken, have you had a chance to pick up anything from the Target sales? Because the Target sales have been chef's kiss this week with the
No, I
with
haven't.
with Python Patrol going on sale. No, you didn't pick anything
Nope,
else up.
nope. Other than when I was with you, I haven't even really had time to step in. So
In the time that we've spoken, I have picked up yet another mouse jaw. Um,
I was wondering when you
I
were going to get
don't.
another one.
Well, I ordered two immediately, and then I picked up that other one, and I don't remember offhand if I may have ordered more and
Hmm.
then forgotten because I want more mousers. I want to see if the mouser head can be modified and placed on Mouse Jaw's head. So you have
That
a
would
like
cool,
a creepy mouser with a body now running after you.
right? You'd be the king of the mousers.
Be a little disturbing. I hopefully I can pull it off. I actually haven't opened any of him, even though I really like the design. I like the character.
Mhm.
So he is great. All right, so jumping complete from that into something completely different.
Just dive
Uh,
in.
I want to continue our conversation from last week about martial arts figures because what's better than Enter the Dragon than Return of the Dragon?
Right. You know what's funny? Remember last week I was like, "Oh, we use these other like random martial arts figures as wrestlers." And
Mhm.
I felt bad that I couldn't give a specific as to what they were. So I went back and looked them up. And apparently 1986 was the year of the ninja because one of them was 86. It was a Dragon Master line by Hasbro. And
Okay.
they all kind of had this like semi squat, one karate chop hand, one
Mhm.
hand that looked like it was holding a cup of coffee, and then they had different heads and different paint jobs. And that was cool. And then the other one, the Remco one, was also in 86, and
Mhm.
it was called The Secret of the Ninja,
Okay.
but they celebrated other martial arts. They had like a Thai kickboxer dude and a kung
Mhm.
fu master. So every one of the figures looked, and they were the same kind of buck as the Remco Karate Kids. And then I think you mentioned the Ninja Force, which were the
Yeah.
3 3/4 GI Joe type guys, also in 1986.
That's fantastic. That so it makes you wonder, like when did these people first see Enter the Dragon, and what took them so long to be like, guys, ninjas?
Right,
Because I don't remember the year exactly, but I remember Ninjor popping up in the He-Man line, and
right,
that
right.
was
Which
kind of
was
a
just
big
a
deal.
funny ninja.
Yeah, and the name gets recycled later in
Right.
Power Rangers
Mhm.
because in how was it? It's not Ninja Storm. I think it's just I think it's just Power Rangers Ninja. It was when they all became ninjas and they had like the full wrapped outfits. And there was
Yeah.
a robot that helped them out, whose name was also Ninjor, but he was blue and kind of goofy, but also very funny
Yep.
for the kids.
Right. Those Hasbro guys I found out also were specifically marketed in Spain. So apparently
Really?
86 was a big ninja year in Spain, and they were called Ninja Warriors Enemies of Evil.
Well, I'm glad they make the distinction.
Yeah,
It, it was always it's always been kind of interesting how because ninjas look cool, like if something just looks cool, you kind of want to turn that into your hero.
hmm,
Because traditionally ninjas were the bad guys. Those they
right.
were the assassins. They were the ones that would, and it's part of the training to just do whatever it is that you need to do. And that's part of the reason why I don't mind. I never minded that Snake Eyes used guns or certain ninja characters would use weapons aside from just a sword and stuff because that's
Right.
their job is to kill you. So if a gun happens to be more handy, the honor code was much more for samurai. That like
Right.
those are the
Right.
ones who wouldn't maybe like stab you in the back or
Right.
whatever.
Because they're
But
going to come at you, they're going to challenge you, and they're going to have their sword. And then the
yeah,
ninjas are going to throw smoke and throw
yeah,
things and like,
it
you
it,
know,
it made the whole Ninja Turtles when they started. They had to make it for kiddies. So like the cart, we all understand
right.
what happened with the '80s cartoon. But when they would say things like "ninjas fight with honor," and it's like, no, they don't. It's not. It's not what they do at all.
I also like, and it's kind of started with the Turtles, like those toy lines and stories that were martial art focused,
Mhm.
but gave us different views of martial arts. And like you're talking about, like some of the characters, obviously the good guys and the heels had different aspects of what their martial arts. For instance,
Mhm.
like Dragon Ball Z
Yeah.
is is martial arts based.
Yes.
Um, but the characters, I mean, a lot of them have that kind of gi look, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? But how they interpret the, I guess, like the morality of their powers
Mhm.
or what they're supposed to be doing is interesting because that's a huge part of each one of those characters is how they view how those martial arts should be used.
Yeah, they leaned a lot more into, I guess, like the mindset of the ways different people use different techniques. And when they, I can't remember, I forgot his name. There's a Fox character who is an actual ninja, and that was like a not a point of contention, but they kind of focused on that. And they're like,
Mhm.
oh, well, he has like a whole other set of skills, and he does all kinds of cool, sneaky things because
Right.
he is a ninja, and that's a thing that he does.
Right,
Uh,
and you kind of get that feeling, much like Lion-O in the Thundercats, and then
mhm,
you had Goku sort of have that Ronin learning curve to the Bushido code. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like when you watch Thundercats, it's exactly that. It's Lion-O becoming samurai, right?
Mhm,
You kind of get that feeling also with Goku.
yes. Yeah, I guess to wrap it back around to toys, do you own any Dragon Ball toys?
I we do have a bunch in the house
Mhm,
because Jared was very into Dragon Ball Z. So we do have
mhm,
a pretty good collection of Dragon Ball, different, even the old ones, because at first it was like the ones that looked like pewter,
mhm,
but they were articulated 5 points, and then they
yeah,
painted them and they were 5 points, and then you can sort of watch the evolution of the Dragon Ball figures all the way up to the figure arts and all kinds
yeah.
of stuff here. But we've got a good variety from the vintage stuff all the way until the most recent stuff.
Oh, and I meant to bring this up last week, and I completely forgot to do like a just a quick in memory of Akira Toriyama who passed away unfortunately. Uh,
Yes.
it, possibly no greater impact, like one of the greatest influences, kind of almost of all time on toys, anime, the fighting genre as a whole. You see his influence kind of
Yeah.
tendrilled out through so many things that we watch now. So many like the way that power is drawn. It's almost like, oh, I guess you kind of can equate him to like the Jack Kirby of his time. He touched
Absolutely.
so many
Absolutely.
different aspects of the game and art and the way things are done, the way characters power up. You either have a Kirby crackle or you have a Goku style aura around you. The evolving from one form to another,
Right.
like taking all of that, the martial arts style, the training,
Yeah.
and it's a
And
lot of
it's
aspects of things that have been done
right.
before.
And
But
it's not one of those things that's generational. It's
mhm,
it's ubiquitous. We were watching because Jared's a wrestler. We were watching, wrestling,
mhm,
YouTube videos and stuff like that. And even recently there was a match before the match started, two little guys, like
uh,
maybe early middle school. The
Mhm.
kids walk up and look at each other. And one throws the
Yes,
and the other
everyone.
throws himself on the mat, and the ref's like, "They're-"
Guys, come on. Like, shut up, we're having fun.
but like the one kid knew exactly what he was doing and went down. It was fantastic to watch.
Yeah, really,
Fantastic.
really,
Take a drink.
really shook the world. Lost him too soon.
Yeah.
That bummed me out.
And aside from the rise of the anime in
Mhm,
the 90s, right? I
mhm.
mean, we had, that kind of in the 80s, but it really got big in the 90s. I
Yeah, that was
remember because
one of the things that put Toonami on the map.
yeah, was also the rise of video game martial art action figures. You touched on it last week, I believe,
Yes,
but we got Tekken,
yes.
which were
It-
great figures, and they're still producing them. And of course, we talked about Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, but there were
mhm,
others like Tekken that we didn't mention. And then
yes.
we wanted so badly to have martial arts toys because it was more fun to use them when you're fighting, and that
Mhm.
allowed us to discover lines we wouldn't have, like Fist of the North Star
Yes.
and other things that came out.
I
And those are
remember
cool figures, and they're still making them.
I didn't realize that it took me a long time to realize that Fist of the North Star became a series.
Right.
And it wasn't until seeing action figures from the series, because I think a lot of people, some of their first exposure to anime was Fist of the North Star, because we all
Right.
know the sound of him yelling and throwing the fists. But I remember not seeing any actual figures for it until the show, because I was seeing people that I
Mhm.
didn't recognize. Funny story. When I first discovered Dragon Ball, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand the concept of Super Saiyajin. So I remember seeing the character of Goku, because there was an import shop not too far from where I lived at the time. So my buddies and I would go there, and they would have the imported video games, and they would have those on display in the arcade. But they also had like Gundam models and Dragon Ball figures, just different imported
Mhm.
figures. And I remember seeing Goku, and then seeing the Super Saiyajin version of him with the blonde hair, and
Right.
wondering if those were two different characters. And I was like, is that his friend? Is this like a Ken Ryu kind of thing? And it took me a while to figure it out. But the guy that caught my attention immediately was Cell.
Yes.
I
He's
loved
perfect.
yes, loved his design. I didn't care about the androids, but I loved his story. That's one of the first. I watched Dragon Ball out of order, so the Cell series is one of the first series that I watched.
Right.
And now he has Bandai put out actually a really good figure of him
Mhm.
recently. Um, so oh,
My favorite thing about watching Dragon Ball is every character, every single one of them was so damn arrogant. Like,
it's true. Everyone was snide. No one was impressed by anybody. No,
no.
I mean, I take it back. Krillin was impressed by everybody.
Well, yeah. That's true. That's true.
Despite being the strongest human in the world, Krillin was impressed by everyone, because someone would show up and blow up a mountain, and everyone else just be like, huh, you think you're strong?
I'll blow up two mountains.
No
Yeah.
one's impressed.
Especially, I mean, the worst of all was Vegeta, but
And it unfortunately carried over in some of the worst ways into other stories who didn't understand the point of the arrogance of some of these characters.
right.
Oh, real quick. So funny that we've been talking about martial arts action figures. So just a couple of days ago, I was poking around on Kickstarter, and I came across a toy line that it's running right now. They're called Zoo Jitsu Fighters, and they're being made by a company called Icon
I
Heroes.
like the sound of this. Are they
Yeah,
anthropomorphized?
they sure are. So I immediately jumped in for a whole set. They're introducing they're starting off with four. It's the it's the same kind of like karate gi body, but they're all anthropomorphic. The first wave is just cats, so you get
Oh,
there's
well,
a
that's
there's
designed specifically for you.
yeah, and I
If
was
they
like,
would make
who?
one of them a robot, we'd be
It's like I don't recall anyone calling me and asking me what kind of toy line I would want to see. This is amazing. So there's a you can get a tiger, there's a panther, there's a jaguar, there's a cheetah. They look awesome. The body looks to have great articulation. Go to Kickstarter, everyone. Look up Zoo Jitsu Fighters. They've got stretch goals where you get the gis in different colors. Um,
is that just
they
Kickstarter.com?
Yes. Go to Kickstarter.com, or just look up Zoo Jitsu Fighters on Google, and it'll send you there. They've got stretch goals that unlock different colored keys. It
Nice.
looks like they have plans for, I don't know if they're hoping to unlock them in this Kickstarter, but they clearly have plans to make like a hip, like other animals, like a hippo, a lion. I think there's a gorilla. So hopefully, I hope they meet their goal. I hope that they get a lot of these made. I hope people are enjoying them. I only have one nitpick, and I'm hoping that maybe they were using kind of like early renders of these characters. The way that the gi is set up, it comes down, it wraps around, so you get a little bit of the chest, and then the neck is exposed. That's all just smooth human skin, which looks weird because the characters have the full anthro head. They have tails, their feet are exposed, and they have claws. So they've got the fuzzy clawed hands, feet, head, but there's that smooth neck and a little bit of chest exposed that should be fuzzy. So because it looks a little bit weird, like if you look at it in the wrong light, if you're not looking at it from a distance, it just looks like a dude wearing a cat mask, which is
it's a mascot from a football team.
Yeah, which kind of takes you out of it a little bit. So I'm hoping that maybe they touch that up. But overall, go get this series because it reminds me of those old games. There was one called Brutal Paws of Fury, and I always wanted a toy line for that because it was just animals fighting each other. Right. They looked awesome. And there's another game called
these are the shirt tails characters after they've grown up. That's what it is.
They've had enough of each other. Who's the friend group? Who are the Get Along Gang?
The Get Along Gang.
They don't get along so well no more. They've grown up. They've hit puberty. They're having issues.
Right.
So,
but they don't say it. They just write it across their shirt.
Just pops up on their shirt.
They're like, "How are you?" And then the shirt says, "Go away,
go away."
I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that.
What I meant. Can't disguise my inner feelings. So let's dig into. I want to go back to G.I. Joe a little bit because we talked a little bit about this last time about how they also had their ninja explosion with
then they adopted Street Fighter.
Yes. Which made perfect sense. It was a little weird seeing Street Fighter characters in the G.I. Joe style.
Right.
But it was kind of cool because I know that there is a lot of kind of generic ninjas that just got cranked out because they needed to have them. But there were some that really stood out to me, like Jinx in particular. Partly because she appeared in the movie. So I have more of a recollection of her. You can't have her too close to Falcon. I don't know if that'll go well.
Nope.
But her, have you seen her classified figure?
I have, and I have ordered it.
It looks really good. I'm really impressed. They got like the tattoo down correctly.
Yeah.
They put a lot of TLC into these, and I'm impressed. I have not got a nunchuck. I also liked because I love the claws. Those look really cool.
Yeah, those were cool. I remember when the Street Fighter G.I. Joe figures came out, and to me, it was difficult to come up to why they were there because they didn't have any, as far as I knew, they didn't have any motivations at the time other than to just fight each other. Right. So, and like I said, my brothers and I were really into like developing the story as to why everybody was there. And we went into great efforts to build background stories for the characters and whatnot, more so than I think most kids did. And so writing them, so to speak, into our storyline was a little bit difficult. Now, for the bad guys, it made perfect sense because, they take pretty much anyone who was loyal, right? Because they was that kind of had that cult thing going on, right? But the good guys, like, why do they need Ken Masters? Like, they don't need, they've already got a giant, they've got 20 ninjas. Again, Snake Eyes is like, really? Ken Masters? Really?
I like to think that Roadblock was just in a supermarket somewhere getting some cereal, and there's Ken and Guile just going at it on aisle 12 because I still love Street Fighter, and Roy Woods Jr. does a great stand-up bit about how Street Fighter characters just fight each other in places of public commerce,
a roller rink, wherever,
fish market, just wherever, fighting each other in a supermarket. And I see Robot being like, we need these guys on the payroll.
Right. You're sitting there just eating your gelato, and then you just see Blanco walk in the door, and you're like, oh, crap.
Cobra was done so well in the cartoon that I could absolutely see Cobra teaming up with Shadaloo and
Yeah.
him being so mad at Bison for not respecting his authority, and Bison not understanding why Destro isn't the guy who's running Cobra.
Right. That's the thing, because each one of those stories, like Cobra, got kind of weird because they kept introducing leaders. They
like the
just
pre-
kept
like the,
introducing leaders.
the previous leader's not cutting it. We need a new one. We'll just make a new one. We'll
I
just
know you
full
had
on.
Cobra Commander, and then eight more came out. By the time you got to you had Globulus and Destro and Bison and all these guys, and you're like, somebody's got to be the head honcho, but nobody respects Cobra Commander. So
You know
how
what?
is this going to work?
You know what I keep waiting for, because they're almost reaching Ninja Turtles level of crossover. We never got a GI Joe Cobra Kai crossover.
Which would make perfect sense, right? The
Now,
latest,
because
especially with the latest Cobra Kai
yeah,
toys.
we've gotten, and Hasbro has, I don't know what their licensing is like, but that last Cobra Kai Power Rangers crossover
Yep,
led to
which
some
was
really
cool.
cool
Oh my
looking
gosh, we got to
figures.
talk about Power Rangers before we run out of time.
Oh, 100%. Power Rangers as a whole, the whole Super Sentai genre, very much entrenched in the, here's a character who knows martial arts. I mean, we touched on it a little bit in the last episode,
Right. But
but
it
it
was
was,
the resurgence in the
mhm,
90s.
yes,
It was that kind of thing. Because
because
you had all of
instead,
the Power Rangers, Beetleborgs, Cameron Wright, all of them.
yeah, because now instead of kids running around, pretending they're Bruce Lee or Chuck Norris, you now had kids running around, and it was like martial arts style fighting. I won't say just straight up martial arts, because they were Power Rangers.
Right, right.
Became synonymous with Power Rangers, so people would jump. That was the play pattern for kids. Everyone knew some sort of martial arts, some way to chop someone in half.
Mhm.
And I like that the show actually kind of leaned into that with the way that the actual Power Rangers themselves look. Like we just talked about Power Rangers Ninja, where they had the full outfits. There is a series called Ninja Storm, where
Yep.
it was very much about like different techniques and how those techniques went up against other, like the bad guys had a different type of fighting style, and they had to figure out how to overcome that. So that is always a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's Saturday night, so everybody's going to go practice their drunken kung fu tonight anyway.
All to the wonderful, wonderful tones of Tommy Two Tone.
Right. Now
I
you
don't
were
know if
much
you did.
more into Power Rangers when you were younger than I was.
You know what?
Um,
I I kind of, that was around a time where I was debating where I was with toys. Um,
right.
that
And they
was
never stopped making Power Rangers toys. I mean, from
no,
first to now, there was never a break. And
once
they kept
Saban,
reinventing themselves really
yes,
well.
once Saban started like figured out the formula, yeah, it's just been constant. I don't know if we've gone a year without Power Rangers since the mid 90s.
Yeah.
And they've and overseas, they are maybe like, I think 1 or 2 years ahead of us. So the things that we're getting now is just an American interpretation of what's already existed. But we hit the point where, oh, and I can't remember the name of the series that came out in Japan. Japan did a series of Power Rangers, because the original version was based on a pre-existing Japanese version. And then Japan hit a point where they did a series as an homage to the American interpretation of the first Power Rangers. So that was a
That's just
really
weird.
cool,
That's
yeah,
weird,
it's
but
a
cool.
really cool wraparound. And then across multiple series like Kamen Rider and Ultraman and Power Rangers,
Yeah.
they they all seem to
Dale discovered Ultraman really early, and he had an Ultraman
mhm,
figure that was like, I don't know, 8 or 9 inches tall, and he
mhm.
would use him. He would write him into our story of superheroes, and it was cool.
Yeah, that was another one where there was very much a martial arts style incorporated into the way that he would fight, where he
Yep.
wouldn't stand and do the crane kick, but there was a lot of judo throws. There was a lot, even his final move where he would do like the chop by throwing the crest on his forehead. The actual fight, like everyone knows the Ultraman pose. Even that
Yep.
is kind of entrenched in a martial arts stance. Uh, that's that is
That's
a
right up there
series.
with this.
Yeah, completely. Like, you know what's coming. It's the same.
Right.
Again, same thing with Dragon Ball. Like once they clasp their hands together, you know a Kamehameha is on the way.
Yeah.
You need to brace for it. Brace for impact.
We didn't get into, and we probably don't have time to, but like some of the silly martial arts toys that came out, like like, we've got Kung Fu Panda 4 coming already out in theaters. Like, even the younger kids now are being introduced to cool martial arts stuff.
And I for a while, I don't know if they're still making them. I think they stopped. Jazzwares for a while was making UFC action figures
Yes,
based
yeah.
on like real legitimate
Mhm.
like real life mixed martial arts characters. I did not collect them myself, even though like I kind of enjoy MMA and watching UFC and a lot of the other leagues. But that was actually a really well done series. The likenesses were really well done. Like
Yeah,
Jazzwares
they
really
were.
nailed it with a lot of them.
I
They hit
like Jazzwares.
they once they hit a certain point, they really got their act together. Their initial
Mm.
Mega Man wave makes me so sad, but the current stuff, like you can't. This is why I was so upset that Hasbro took the 6-inch Fortnite line away from them. They should be the one cranking out Fortnite stuff. Their 4-inch line just can't be beat. So good. It's always amazing. Give me
Absolutely.
more of that. But yeah, their UFC line was really good, and I think they did. I think they made them in multiple scales. I remember there being 6 or 7-inch versions of say like Anderson Silva or Chuck Liddell, and then seeing smaller ones. I want to say they were smaller because the packaging I think formed a little mini octagon that you could use.
Oh, that's fun. I didn't realize that.
So that was a good. No build a figures though, if I'm remembering correctly.
Nobody was big enough. So closing out in the last couple of minutes, do you have a martial arts line that you would have liked to have seen
Uh like one that I would
besides
make or
Ninja
what?
Cats, which they're making now for
Which
you?
they're made. It's already done. I want to see more Ninja Cats. Give me a few more of those. Bulk
It's
them
it's
up.
a it's almost an impossible question to answer because every toy line added martial arts guys into it.
Yeah, pretty much every series. Did Cops have a ninja in their toy line? I don't remember
No,
offhand.
no, I don't think they did.
Ah, they straight away. If they had a season 2, I bet you they would have
Yeah,
encountered some kind of ninja.
no, I don't think they did. Now I want one.
Because
They had a mechanical dog though, so it's fine.
even RoboCop encountered ninjas at some point.
Which was ridiculous.
That's one of the did they make a figure of that? Did NECA ever get around to making the
Yeah,
the
I don't think
robot
anybody
ninja
wanted it,
version?
but yeah, I think they made.
Not their best work. Not really
No,
a good
no,
time.
no, it was not.
Even Transformers had ninjas.
I was just wanted to ask you that. Did Transformers have ninjas?
Transformers absolutely had ninjas. There was a character that was introduced in Generation 1 called Nightbird, who was actually not a robot that transformed. She was just a robot ninja. And then
Oh, that's cool.
later on in the like Megatron stole her and reprogrammed her and sent her out after the Autobots. And
That's
then
what the bad guys always do to the women.
later on in the well, that's why they're Decepticons. It's all in the name. And then later on, now she is officially like a full-on transforming robot. But
Oh,
so this is a good time to put this question to the listeners. Let us know if you would have like a specific ninja line that you would love and enjoy. Get a hold of us on Two Guys Talking Toys on Twitter. That is the number 2. No G after the talking. Same for Gmail. Take care, everybody.
and go watch Ninja Assassin. It's a ridiculously good, ridiculous movie.
I second that. Go watch it.